Though our group homies just couldn't hold back and went ahead, we still wish we named this thing for viewing 2 months ago, so it had to be set up. OnePlus 15 new RC bottle, old wine begrudging, yet here we are. Or does it hide true depths, break new ground, and still chase perfection? Let us check. Still no imaging part today, focus on gaming performance and heat holder stuff, just a quick glance. And you know what, when it comes to this, how could we miss out on Big IQ? Perfect reference for this bracket. Check it out too. OnePlus 15 hand.fr actually is Viblin's highbrow art, not everyone's cup of tea, no denying that. But it's quite refined, honestly, it doesn't fit this price bracket at all. Bro, it was like he's totally ditched that old habit, no more slapping on flashy, pointless stuff to fix on vibe. None of that, man. Looks quite distinctive, but just a pose to please the crowd. Kept only the core lines, stripped down to near rule-breaking minimalism. Yet it's this bold subtractive carving right here, which instead focuses on the raw nanobody, like stone-carved, ceramic-like wear, craftsmanship, and unity hit new heights. I mean, in today's smartphone community, it feels like stepping from a noisy mall straight into a microsman art gallery space. Everything feels so delicate, calm, and natural, with just a hint of gentle warmth. Anyway, forget retrofuturism for a sec. What matters is it blends so smoothly into any setting with no forced touches at all. The touch feels upscale with that unique vibe of a one-of-a-kind feel to it. Of course, if the main cam's deco corner could sync better with body, that'd be nice. Not sure how you all feel about this OnePlus design. How many points would you give it? Drop your damn comments and join in. Though the OnePlus 15 now packs a 7300 mAh battery, its size and weight still sit right in this bracket. Even compared to iQOO 15 7000 mAh, it is still smaller. The numbers aren't much, just 2mm shorter and lighter by no more than 10 grams. But in hand, the feel of it is still quite a bit more compact. In terms of grip, the highlight is the main cam deco since it wasn't made too big, no extra bulk or bumps to make it feel cumbersome. On the other hand, the placement clearly shows thought right up against the edge, near the corner, whether held vertically or sideways left or right. It just doesn't interfere and feels quite comfy. One touch flash note long press to start voice notes, AI auto converts to text. If you run into some stinky long-winded stuff, just tap to scan and it'll auto summarize for later read. Besides, shortcut keys can handle sound modes, camera recording, and translation too. DIY setup is quite handy, just the small gadgets right now it twice grouped by function, which might be a bit limiting. For instance, if I use switch audio modes most often but love camera shutter best, then with current setup I can pick just one. But if we can later add options like short long presses or single or double taps, then short press could switch audio modes, long press would launch camera. Short press toggles to shutter once camera's on. This way, at least 2 functions can be handled and things flow more smoothly. The vibration's way more intense than imagined. Hard to believe it comes from such a subdued look, and the phone not just for gaming. Like the iQOO 15, the feels got that one move defeats 10 vibe for sure. Who cares about hit feedback, just let it do on like crazy. The speaker output is quite unique too. OnePlus 15 sounds unlike any other phones we've heard before, somehow. The live soundstage feels up front, tight to the ear with less harshness. Frankly, it holds its own against iQOO's War Drum Master, maybe even smoother and warmer to boot. Guys, I just gave it a quick. When off the screen, spectral reflectance is decent, black looks quite pure, much like Red Magic's effect. This is even clearer when compared to iQOO. Since it stripped out polarization without that AR coating, glare's bound to pop up, plus front light sensitivity is high. But this doesn't really pose a major issue since you end up putting on a screen protector anyway. Just pick one with anti-glare though. Screen lit up, though the thick body frame does slightly affect the black border look. But the screen's ultra-thin, even-sided bezel is still quite pleasing to the eye. Rare for this price range though. As for 2K to 1.5K, to be frank, with phone screen sizes, the human eye can barely spot a difference. 165Hz changes just aren't that obvious in use. Of course, that is if your main game supports it. Take yourself as an example, and let us just test it. First, eliminate interference at a baseline max out settings, lock at 120Hz, sync triggers, keep net lag the same. At this point, both phones seem quite alike, whether in zooming timing or screen smoothness, there's no big difference to spot here. But OnePlus did fire one frame faster, roughly 4 to 5 milliseconds, on the low end there. Note that this time gap is from the whole system, adding up it just shows up in the moment of firing, not from one part alone like touch response or such. You can skip this part right now then, folks. And the rest of the differences come down to refresh rate. 165 yes, common 120Hz. No need to explain, frame timing is right there, whether it's smooth visuals or firing speed, it almost like torture, honestly. At 144Hz, motion smoothness improves a lot, but overall input lag still lags behind the 165 by 10 to 12 milliseconds, roughly speaking. So the 165 boost is at least half of the game. But then again, in general, we're not top tier pros here. Would this part really give you a clear edge or noticeable advantage though? I don't think so though, but for sure, even just 30 seconds in, switching back to 144 or 120 feels a bit laggy. Oh, the boost in front feels quite direct. As for the gyroscope, it was tough to judge, just say it feels a bit more stable than the norm maybe. But in game mode, there's no custom options yet, more room for expansion. If we can pick between presets and custom, that'd be better for fun for sure. For dimming and flicker, OnePlus dual modes do quite well, whether it's high DC plus low PWM or full DC all the way. Up to 10 nit SVM maxes at 0.5. Low brightness DC mode here stands out quite a bit. What we saw before just didn't drop, it went up instead. This time IQ hit 2.5 or higher, but OnePlus, strictly speaking, was even lower than with PWM. All in all, it was closer to full brightness, low flicker specs. In terms of brightness, IQ hits a high point now, manual full screen peaks near 1100 nits, and boosted hits close to 2700 nits at 10%. The HDR window hits 5710 nits. Wild hard to say there's anyone on the market who can match that. OnePlus isn't as wild as IQ full screen max manual brightness hits 835.3 nits. Peak 1910 10%. HDR window hits 3500 nits, right in line with norms. But to be fair, when both are on default mode at 1 nit, OnePlus visuals do manage to sidestep color temp issues. Just check those circle spots there. In terms of color, OnePlus has an average delta under 1.0. For compatibility, just use standard mode plus warm settings and you'll hit a spot on CI 1931 match, no doubt. Want to follow trends, natural mode plus warm tint gives you CI 2015 10 degree. As for IQ, it's a bit weaker, but color bias stays around 1 or so. In terms of touch, both sampling rates are quite impressive, whether in system UI or games, they are unusually stable, as smooth as a straight line. Though OnePlus hits 320Hz, IQ peaks at 360 higher in raw numbers, but honestly the real-world gap isn't that wide, I think. Worth noting, to maximize stability, one had tweaked settings specifically in games. Normal sampling shows a median of 329Hz, but in games it drops down to 299Hz. At that point, relative volatility drops from 0.25 to 0.19, which is a roughly 24% decrease in the rate of fluctuation. The base click latency estimates still show little differences. In the end, they all converge. Touch responsiveness tested with settings max all on 120Hz for easy compare. For some reason, IQ can't draw straight lines with styluses, either active or passive ones, but it works fine with just your fingers. Feel the out, folks. Not sure which you'd prefer, but to me they look pretty much the same. Wet hand touch, no need to explain. Tested it, and no big issues there. For performance, check 2 benchmarks first, and Antutu scores 4.15 million fair and in line with expectations. IQ never hit 400 though. Not too surprising though, this guy's scores have always been on the low side, it's become a staple now. For wire compression decompression, OnePlus does better than expected. Even without the whitelist performance shows a trend OnePlus can pull power, but IQ's balance mode is quite stingy, especially in video encoding or decoding tasks. Though OnePlus didn't pull out much performance here, at least it didn't go like IQ, which somehow doubled the time, clearly leaning too hard on power saving for the sake of saving power. 25 degrees, 30 mark stress test, thought this tier to be fiercely competitive, but wow, just how fierce. OnePlus 15 might have unlocked sleek performance beast Kaki Genkai raw output near 15W, average 10.16, steady tweaks all through, no sudden drops in performance. Though limited by positioning to 18 means it still trounces most regular flagships, such wild performance clashes with its harmless, mild-mannered look. Keys to watch overall temps gap between front pack panels and metal body here is wider than usual, so thermal isolation must be in play. I mean, without relying much on body cooling, it still pushes this hard there. It's definitely some magic here. Of all the factors here, I'd say the battery gets top billing, no doubts. Dual cell temps have edge, that edge grows with rising power draw. Not obvious in daily use, but in games it shows, especially under stress like stress tests, wild stuff. 4.6 degrees Celsius cooler than 7W Xiaomi and 3 degrees Celsius under 9.1 W IQ, no joke. When it comes to IQ body, it is fierce surge hits 17.6 W, then holds 13 W AVG for 9 mins. Who else but them? Doesn't lost battle spirit stirs some heartfelt awe. Could this be the old IQ 1, the one who slew demons and sharks? Back once more. Us more. But 9 minutes in, dreams collapse. Thermal saturation output halved. Monster flight lines like that. Daily save power routine with that constraining spell on temp. Let games cool down just to cool down. You'll find that right now, IQ's 2 segments seem a bit opportunistic. I think it was better to get back on track as soon as possible. Honor of King's 1080 at max graphics 30 cities shows the issue quite well. Well, whether it was OnePlus or IQ, in every aspect, they outperform those so-called flagship phones on the market. But can you imagine IQ with Tencent's perks and Garmin tag, yet in terms of smoothness can't beat OnePlus honestly? If the pressure weren't so high as you often see online, then with temps and power, it'd hard to be a sure win, no doubt. But once under normal load, power and heat limits take top priority and frame rates start to falter a bit. Sure, you could go for that 144 FPS and then you are on par with OnePlus in most ways. But know that once the final half hour hits, even at 4.3W, it will drop to 120 FPS then. Can you guarantee you're always in low stress mode while playing Honor of Kings? Back to OnePlus, no such issue there. Frames are stable, but power draw, as mentioned, does run a bit high at times. If same performance drop 0.3 more would hit 4W and be ideal. At 30 degrees Celsius, max Genshin impact settings, Echo's tweaks don't stand out as much as in Honor of Kings. Their performance is quite close, but OnePlus edges is slightly. At 16% output, that has quite a jump. Frame rate graphs show smoother results, not as rough as before. Though front and back panel times don't show much edge, metal bodies run 1 degree Celsius cooler, with GPU and battery 2 degrees Celsius lower inside. Wuthering Waves both hit 4 FPS decent show. Coincidentally, if Genshin Impact saw near identical runs, here they're outright the same. .fr aiming rates and power use all match. But if we must rank them, OnePlus edges by 1%, higher load, fewer stutters though. Metal body still averaged 1 degree Celsius lower, GPU down 1.7, battery at 1.3. Honkai Star Rail is no surprise. Maybe the first half they can fight, but later Raikou just got tripped up by his own constraining spell. Frame drops came early and hard. There's still a dip at the end. This is a golden hour, folks, no doubt. 45 FPS plus lag spikes galore feels way more jarring than OnePlus's 50 FPS smoothness, no doubt. On times, 5 hotspots averaged even, but OnePlus metal body was 1 degree Celsius cooler, GPU 3.1, battery 2.6. Notice if this edge is even bigger, now higher power draw means dual-core setup cools better than before. Power up on OnePlus packs a 7300 mAh battery here, thanks to dual-cell thermal edge plus 120W fast charging. Charging speeds this season are genuinely quite fast. Starting at 1% charge after 5 means it hits 17%, in 30 means 89% is reached, full 100% in 39 means, and fully topped up in 50 means total. Well, OnePlus hit the mark here for sure, maybe by beating 100W iQOO 15, it feels a bit underhanded though. But know that Red Magic with 120W and active cooling still hits just 36.4W average power. OnePlus 15 hits 44.2, small current yet quite bold. But know that OnePlus has this ultra power saving mode you can exit at 1% and rarely deplete. And it had a head start, this chunk alone might add at least 500 mAh or so. So when UI is fully charged, it clocks around 6400 mAh and 6800 when topped off. So yes, ATU is faster, but not by much, mind you. Strictly speaking, if you somehow manage to drain that power save mode, then from 0% to full UI charge should take about 42 mins. Same here since reserved power isn't counted. This total smaller but still bigger than iQOO. Just a quick glance then. Overall, while they all now run ColorOS, I still feel that this one's a bit different. This one might just be the most original batch we've had in 5 years. Whether it's pure looks on the outside or the smooth feel of the build or balance extras and things that are fairly well done. And yet there's a bit of temper that leaks out from deep inside. Like we've found our familiar rhythm once more. Somehow unique and fierce, so that's OnePlus. Straight up answer to no compromise. But what is the key thing here? This 12 plus 256 model China mainland version, just 3,499. Not sure if this just came out when I bought it, that option wasn't there. Paid 4,899, if I didn't know, I'd have waited a few days. Hope folks go easy when restocking. Okay, not sure how you think OnePlus did this time. Was it up to par? Drop a comment and share your views. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching. I'm Big Hand. See you in the next one, folks.